All right, welcome back for another episode of Hidden Gems. This is the video series where I talk about those books that are still tucked away in those back issue boxes. These aren't the hot books, the books everybody's searching for on hot 10 lists, top 10 lists. These are books that are sometimes forgotten about, often underpriced, that are usually hidden away, tucked away in those back issue boxes that you might still be able to grab for either less than what their current market price might be, or just books that might be just not in everybody's mindset right now, but might have some potential down the road. Just some cool books, things that rely to some artists, some different categories like first appearances, some later printing, some variants, just some special things that you might be able to find out there in those boxes that you might not even be aware exist. I'm trying to reach as many different people with this series as I can, from the old veteran collectors to the newer collectors. So I'm going to make the selections, kind of a nice little mix. Hopefully you're still enjoying that as well as everything else here on the channel. Please let me know in the comment section. Like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Join memberships if you are so inclined to check out the extra little things you get by joining the Rennavision membership group. And I also have a giveaway that I announced last week. We got about 30 people who entered, who followed the instructions and gave me their favorite artists, and I'm going to run the wheel for those people right now. So this way you guys can find out if you won the free Catwoman book that I got right here. It's still sitting where it was when I showed it last week. So this J. Scott Campbell store exclusive variant for Catwoman, the 80th anniversary edition. I'm going to give that away to one of our lucky viewers. So let me get that wheel up now, just to show you everybody here. Oh, you know what? I'll make it a larger screen. I got all your entries right here as they came in. As I said, I also listed who you picked, or whoever your first pick was, because some of you gave me multiple artists, so I just pick one, usually the first one out of your grouping, to put you in there. So just want to make sure you all know that you're all in there. Everybody who entered up and through, I think yesterday was the last entry that I got from Guilty Nomad. So who picked Ryan Stegman, underrated artist as well. And yeah, so let's mix this up. I don't want to keep the order as they came in. So we're going to mix this up a few times. We're going to shuffle it up, all right? So we're going to shuffle, 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 shuffle. One more shuffle. I'll go to full screen, and we're going to run the wheel to see who is the winner for this week's giveaway. I hope to do more of these giveaways. That's kind of why I started the membership program. So this way we can get some more, do more fun stuff like this. So hopefully you guys are into that. So let's take a look and see who our lucky winner is going to be as it spins, spins, spins. And it looks like it is going to fall on Matthew Cologne, it looks like, who picked Shannon Mayer, who I do like Shannon Mayer's art. I just wish there was a little more variety in some of the poses that Shannon Mayer chooses, but I do like that kind of digital, the art germ, the kind of new wave cover artist that we are getting these days. Shannon Mayer has been right at the precipice of that group ever since that, what was that vampire book that he did that cover on that really put him in the spotlight. But Shannon Mayer, Matthew Cologne, make sure you reach out to me either through Instagram. You can send me a direct message so you can get me your address of where you want me to send that book, or you can send it to there'll be a email down below. Rennavision1@gmail.com is the email I have for the channel, but I don't check it every day. So that's why if you're using the email, make sure you put it in the comments that you're doing that. So this way I know to check the email, because again, I forget to check that thing. But easiest way, and again, just hit me up with a direct message on Instagram @Rennavision, and that's the easiest way to get it to me. And like I said, I'll get this book out to you on me as soon as I get your info. So thank you all again for participating. We will be doing some more giveaways like this more often, because I like giving stuff away. I got plenty of books here. I got plenty of stuff, whether it be books, toys, a lot of random stuff. So hopefully you guys are into that. And with that all said, let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming here and tell you what books we are going to be doing right after the intro. All right, so let's get right into it with our first segment, going back to it. This is our quick artist retrospective. We're just going to spotlight an artist, as we have been doing for many of the weeks I've been doing this show, because I'm a big fan of artists and a big fan of cover art, interior art, comic art in general. So I like giving a nice little spotlight. So we're going to start off Hidden Gems with our quick artist retrospective. And for this week, we're going to be looking at Ms. Joelle Jones of Ladykiller fame. I'm sure that's where a lot of people came to notice Joelle Jones's art is through Ladykiller. It kind of was like a breakout hit. Now, this particular cover is that hard to find ECC Emerald City Comic Con variant. I think it was limited to like 500. But just putting this one out there as just a nice little intro, because she has done some really cool variants. And we're not going to be giving the pricing on this or some of these others because these are not hidden gems. This one right here might actually be closer to Chasing Ghosts, and maybe we'll cover it on Chasing Ghosts one of these days going forward. But she has done some pretty sought after variants as well outside of this, just to kind of remind you guys of this Ms. Marvel number 12. Pretty cool cover there. That Black Widow is a nice one as well. And then that was a Comixology, wasn't like a convention exclusive for A-Force. And yeah, she's done a lot of Ms. Marvel, which is pretty good because she's pretty good at it. I like her Ms. Marvel. And she has done a lot of different flavors. It's not, her art doesn't always look the same. Even you look at these three, they are not exactly the same. There's different techniques being used here, different ways that things are spotlighted, where it's a little more pastel-y looking there on that A-Force, and a little more dark noir kind of vibe there going with the Black Widow. And I like that. I like it when an artist has some versatility. But getting back to that kind of noir feel, and going back to probably her most popular property was Ladykiller. I remember when this came out, this got hot like right out of the gate. And then I think it got optioned within the last like year or two. And yes, option doesn't mean anything's actually going to get made. It's a possibility. So we'll see. But this book has gotten expensive. So especially the first print. There's a second print with an all red cover as well for that number 1. But keep an eye out for any of these issues. There's only 5 issues in the first volume, and they all have some great covers. You can see there, again, front and center, there's number 1, 2, issue 3. I also like issue 4 of this run as well, with the, attacking with the high heels, kind of cool. And then there she is on the cover, issue 5, the last one. She worked frequently with Jamie S. Rich on a bunch of these, as you'll see some of these other projects that we're going to bring up, as he had written the stories here, and she had done the art. And I think it's a good collaboration. And as I noted, Ladykiller has gotten a little bit pricey these days. I mean, issue 1 can sell for like there $70, whereas the other issues can be anywhere in like that kind of cover price to like a $10 kind of range. So depending where you find them, you might find it for a couple of bucks. It might be a little more expensive, but just keep that in mind. It's really issue 1 is the I guess the gem of this bunch as far as pricing goes. But I'd still keep an eye out for the whole run. I mean, again, first volume is only 5 issues, and I think they're all worth looking out for just in case, especially if you can find a set. Asking prices as well on issue 1 are about $90. You can see lots of like that's issue 2 and 4, which are only listed as fine to very fine and very good, and it's $25 ask on those 2 issues. Or that whole run, complete set of Ladykiller 1 through 5 is asking $85, but that is with a second print number 1. And that second print number 1 kind of is going like 30 to 40 as far as as far as what sales have been going for. So it's like double that at least for that first printing. So first printing is the gem, I guess, but keep an eye out for all of them, as well as the second volume of Ladykiller, which is another 5-issue series. And I really dig a few of these covers. I mean, there's issue 1, issue 2 is really nice with her with all those the pots there and the hand coming out of the garbage disposal. But issue 3, there's something pretty cool about that. It's got like a Steranko kind of vibe there with a little bit of a with all the all the circles and the 3-color cover. Big fan of the 3-color cover, like David Aja does, the black, white, and red. So I really dig that issue 3. I mean, I guess there's a little green in her eye, so it's more than 3 colors, but you get what I'm saying. And then there's the 2 more issues in this run. Issue 4, also a nice cover, and issue 5 is also a pretty cool one as well. So covers alone, I would say grab these, because the cover art alone is gorgeous on these. But you are getting interiors and stuff as well. So there is a lot of good stuff to be had with this series, either volume of this run. So again, I like the issue 3s. That's why I'm spotlighting in the front. But broad pricing, these are a lot of times around cover price. That's all these are selling for. There's no real aftermarket bump for any of these. You can see $3.50 to like $5. That's kind of what these sell for. Asking prices, kind of in that same range. It could be more like cover to double cover. So you can see $6 to $8. And then even down below, you can see there's volume 1 and volume 2. So both 5-issue minis together $160, and I believe they're all first prints in that listing. So that's what you're looking at. If you can collect and get all 10 of these in first prints, that might be what you're looking at as far as pricing goes, about $150, $160. Not too bad. But to kind of jump back on Joelle Jones's first work, and from what I gather, her first work was actually as a colorist on this Harris Comics Top Cow collaboration on Vampirilla, Witchblade, Union of the Damned, way back in 2004. I feel like I can see some of the inspiration. I don't know if she did more than just the color work. I don't know if she might have also done a little, maybe some inking, some finishes, but listed as the colorist on the cover here. So I can see a little bit of inspiration there in the eyes, really, and the way that she does eyes. But I think she just did the color work. This book is very, very cheap. If I like collecting artists first and things like that, and I know colorist is not exactly the same thing as her first penciled work, but it's still something I keep an eye out for. And for $1.50 or $1.46, that's not too bad. Granted, $30 shipping out of the UK, but if a UK buyer was buying this, the shipping wouldn't have been that much. So who knows where this one was actually purchased, but that's kind of what the sale price has been on this. And asking prices, it's like $4, $8 with free shipping. So that's really like a $4 ask in either case. So not an expensive book, something you could probably find in dollar bins if you go digging hunting. So just be mindful of that. She also did a little bit of interior work here on this Fables cover early on, where it was a one-pager in this Fables number 59. A bunch of different artists did these like little one-page stories throughout this book, this issue, and this was her like little one-pager with the 3 little pigs and Rose Red. I like Fables. I was a big fan of the Fables series, so if you are interested, I believe this is her first DC/Vertigo work, might have been. So she was working here with this little one-page interior story. She didn't do the cover. I believe that's still James John, if I'm saying the name properly. I don't know if I'm accenting it, if it needs like a little French flair to it, but that's who did most of the Fables covers. So great run of covers, by the way, there. But that's not who we're here to talk about. We're still here to talk about Joelle Jones. And as I noted before, her frequent collaborator, Jamie S. Rich, in this little trade paperback. She's done a bunch of trade paperbacks early on, like graphic novels, like full-on illustrated novels, like this one, 12 Reasons Why I Love Her. I actually bought this when this came out. I don't know why. It was like an impulse. I was reading these kind of things. This is like reading those Scott Pilgrim, kind of like books. That's the kind of thing I was into back in those days. And I believe I actually got this recommended after reading all of the Scott Pilgrims. So that's the kind of thing I was into back then. But this is still a fun little read, and you can still find these kind of on Amazon and I think bookstores, because, again, it is a graphic novel, a little trade paperback, almost digest size, maybe a little bit bigger. But you can see there, she did the whole thing, interior, exterior. Pretty cool art if you you dig her style, which I do. Even inside of this, it had a little bit of a kind of a manga kind of flair to it, a little bit more simple lines, bold lines, a little bold outline work, a lot of empty space, open spaces to kind of help your imagination kind of fill in those gaps. But she did other works. There was another one, I can't remember the title of it, but then there's also the Spell Checkers, which was a collection of trade paperbacks. It was almost like a manga digest again, and she just did part of the story. I believe she might have done the cover as well as the flashback scenes, as you can see here is an example of one of the flashbacks, because the other art was definitely more anime manga style. As you can see here, it's the bulk of the series is more of this style art, but the flashbacks were Joelle Jones. So another little cool little thing to go keep an eye out for, because sometimes you can find these weird little things in used bookstores, on tables at a yard sale. Who knows? Just odd little books that maybe you can stumble across that are outside the normal hunting grounds for comics. So yes, this might have fallen into more of that oddities category if we were there, but we're still doing the artist. We're still doing the artist retrospective, and we're still talking Joelle Jones, and we still got a few covers that I think are worth spotlighting. Just single issues here. So here's a couple of single issues that we can kind of throw out here, like this Ms. Marvel 13. Just a cover A, regular cover, really cool cover, number 13. I don't know. I like it. With the American flag in the background, I think it's pretty cool. And it doesn't sell for all that much. It's still a cover price kind of selling book, so $3.99. So keep an eye out for it. Asking prices $4 to to $7. So cover to double cover is really what that one is at. She also did a 4-issue Supergirl Mini, that Supergirl being super, which also had fantastic art. These were like premium prestige format, almost a little thicker, the cardstock, nice shiny glossy covers, I believe the cover prices were definitely over $4.99. So these might have been a little bit expensive to buy in, but you might be able to find these in the cheap boxes because these kind of things just, after they're done selling, they get forgotten about, and they get those. Even the prestige format books can still find their ways into dollar bins because shops just need the space. They want to clear this stuff out eventually. And this like I said, it's 4-issue run. You can see these things kind of run for like $9, and it could be as cheap as $16 for all 4. That's less than cover, I'm telling you, on these prestige format books. $16. So definitely worth looking into. Asking prices as well. $9 on an issue 1, $15 for all 4, or as cheap as $4 for just issue 1 if you just want to grab that first one. Yeah, again, up to you. She doesn't just do female characters. I know we've spotlighted plenty of female characters, but she does some male characters as well, like this Helheim book. This is completely different than what I would have expected out of her, but still pretty cool covers. I mean, look at that. It's almost got like a little bit of a Joe Mad kind of vibe there, a little bit of Battle Chasers kind of flavor, which you kind of dig. So Helheim out of Oni Press. That's a 6-issue run, I believe, as well. These things are also really cheap. Early on in her work, I think these were the early 2010s, I don't remember the year that this one was actually printed. 2013. There we go. So Helheim, number 1 of 6, came out in 2013. So you can see there, sold for like $4 for just issue 1. And that's the only sale I could find online. And asking prices are also not that high. 99 cents for that issue 6, which is a really cool cover. Issue 1, $1.20 with no bids, or you can just buy it now for $1.57. So not expensive. The whole 6-issue run, it will be $8. And I might buy it because I think I want to check this one out because, like I said, I like Joelle Jones's art, and this is not what I normally see out of her, not what I expect. So I think I might want to grab this to check this one out myself. But again, something else that you also might find in those dollar bins. It's the Oni Press book, which it means the print run's not going to be very high, but there was not a lot of, I don't think, interest in this sort of title. So there's probably a lot of leftovers out there. So keep an eye out for it. Mockingbird. She also did those covers for Mockingbird. Only 8 issues in the whole run, but it was still a nice little 8-issue set if you can get all of them. Here are just 3 of them that I liked, but there's a couple other good ones as well in this mix. I mean, from issue 1, issue 3, and then that issue 8 is probably the most sought after because of the the T-shirt. Everybody wanted that variant. Well, actually, it really wasn't a variant. I think there was a B cover as well, but everybody wanted this cover because asked me about my feminist agenda T-shirt, which I kind of dig. I do have this somewhere in a box, but that's the one that's actually the priciest of the Mockingbird group, as you can see here from the sale. The recent sales. Issue 1 could be like $1 book, $1.50 it sells for even online, but you can get anywhere in like 10 to sort of like $20 for that final issue, issue 8. Because of that cover. And a little bit of controversy sells and gets people interested and gets people looking for something that they don't normally look for. And you can even see the asking prices. Regular issues anywhere from like $2 to $7. So cover to double cover or even less than cover. And then that final issue, issue 8, could be like 20 to 30 as far as asking prices go. And I guess our last little bit, we'll just wrap up with Joelle Jones just to keep us moving here, is as you know, she did 30 issues of Catwoman, like the cover A's of the newest Catwoman run. Fantastic cover work. Some of these really shine. I mean, look at that issue 20. That's that like kind of negative space, little rip through. I dig that a lot. And these things, you can find these pretty cheap. I don't want to say dollar bins for certain, but a lot of overstock, back issue discounts, you can find a lot of these issues because most people want the B covers because they have the more prestige format and usually like the bigger name artists, whatnot. But Joelle Jones really killed it on these A covers. And again, she did, I think, most, if not all, of the 1 to 30. I think issue 30 was her last of the regular cover A's for this recent run, but definitely underrated. So check it out. Check them out if you can find them for cheap. And we are going to move on to our next segment, variants, because I want to talk about a couple of variants. And we are actually going to start with Joelle Jones one, just kind of link up the segments a little bit. And one of my favorite variants, just fun one to find, Saxman from Lost Boys. This is a B cover. It's not even an incentive cover, so just keep an eye out for it. I mean, it's not the easiest book to find, but it's not impossible to find. You can find a bunch online, but finding it in a store might be tougher just because of the nature of it's a Vertigo Lost Boys adaptation. This is the B cover, but pretty fun. If you saw the Lost Boys, you know the Saxman. This is a great cover. It's nostalgia written all over it. And this thing could sell, okay, 12 to 15 bucks have been the most recent sales. I've seen it sell for a lot more. I think this has gone up and sold for up to $50 at some points, at some stages. But as you can see now, it's 12 to 15 plus shipping. Asking prices are also kind of in that $17 to $20 range. So if you want the Saxman, or if you're lucky enough to find the Saxman cover, that's what you're looking at. But from there, I got a couple Art Adams books, just a little lesser known and kind of tough to find, despite the fact that they're relatively low ratio. I like to keep lower ratios here for hidden gems and save the tougher, higher ratios for like Chasing Ghosts. But this is a 1 in 15. Both of these next issues are 1 in 15s. And this is Fantastic Four 583. Art Adams, really cool, classic Doom. Just love that image. I just dig it. It's just bold, it's simple, it's striking, it's just classic Doom. And I like it. And this one, yeah, it does okay. $100 for a 9/8 doesn't seem too bad for a 1 in 15. And that's the only sale I could find. And when I was looking to buy one, because I kind of wanted one after finding this, I couldn't find any. There's none out there. So it's almost like I got a 1 in 15 Chasing Ghost opportunity here. But we're just going to leave it here in Hidden Gems. And the next issue is almost as good. If you're a Thing fan, it's probably just as good. But this is a nice classic Thing. I dig this one as well. Also a 1 in 15, and this is the next issue, issue 584. There's also the vampire cover on this one with the Thing, with the whole vampire thing, because they did the whole theme month. But this is just another 1 in 15 random Art Adams. Really cool classic Thing. I like this. And there have been none sold in the last couple of months, nor are there any available when I went looking. I'm like, damn. So maybe I should have put these in Chasing Ghosts. But once again, we'll keep them here in Hidden Gems because they kind of fit. That's that lower ratio incentive. Those shouldn't be that tough to find. This was a popular run of Fantastic Four at the time. This is when they were going down to, Anyway, we're not going to get sidetracked with that. We're going to move on to our next segment because we're already like 20 minutes into this. Let's get on to our later prints. I always like covering the later printings because, yes, it's still a little niche part of our hobby, a little part of the market. Yes, they're reprints. They come later, but some of these can be fun. And I generally like the ones that have different cover art. The different color variants of the same covers just don't entice me all that much, nor do the black and white versions, but we do have one of those in here today. It's not our first book, but our first book, again, sticking with Fantastic Four, is issue 536, On the Road to Civil War. This is the Brian Hitch cover, issue 536. This is not that tough to find, this particular one. I don't know why it's so cheap, but it is cheap. $2, $2.40. You can find this. You might be able to dig this one out of dollar bins. Again, it may not be the most fantastic cover for the Fantastic Four in the world, but we know we're getting the Fantastic Four coming soon. So some of these weirder, oddball kind of things, I think are really going to be more sought after as we start getting closer. Like, sorry, we start getting casting announcements, things like that. Not everybody can afford Fantastic Four #1. So the market is probably going to be more centered in around like variants and just harder to find books. So that's why I'm thinking of these oddball little things now, because they're probably going to be the things that people start hunting when we start getting that Fantastic Four fervor going. But who knows? If they don't, they don't. Still a cheap buy-in. And even asking prices on this one, it's $1.50 to $6. Not expensive at all. Again, classic Fantastic Four image, Brian Hitch. But I really like the next one. Actually, the cover A. The cover A on this is more striking. It's Doom, but this is the second print, which is gonna be tougher to find, but it's black and white, and I don't usually like the black and white, but it's still really cool Doom image with the Doom holding that hammer. So I still kind of dig it. And this one also is not that expensive for what it is, and also not impossible to find. They're out there. You can see copies selling for $1.25 to $4 for this one. Really cool Doom holding Mjolnir. Available copies asking anywhere from $4 to $18. So prices could start trending up, ticking up. So if you can find this for cheap in a box somewhere near you, maybe grab it and see what happens. You know, like I said, Doom is another character a lot of people are going to start getting excited for, and not everybody can afford Dr. Doom's first appearance. So what are they going to do? They're going to start hovering in to some of the mini series, some of the variants, some of the tougher to find books, because they might be able to afford and play in that kind of playground. Because I personally can't get an FF5. I can't get an FF1. I mean, I probably could, but I'm not going to, because my wife would kill me if I did. So not even going to entertain those ideas. So that's why I look at this cheap stuff, look at the stuff like this, because this I can do and not be bothered or yelled at, because it's a couple of bucks. That said, I got one more later printing for you, and I kind of like this cover. It's a fun little Peter Parker, Amazing Spider-Man 546, brand new day, second print. This one's actually not that easy to find, and this one actually does all right on the aftermarket. Unlike the first two, which were both cheap books, this one could cost you a few bucks if you start shopping for it right now. Copies can sell, anywhere in 10 to 20 bucks, but the asking prices right now are a little bit more than that, in like a $30 to $35 range. So while you may be able to sneak one out for like 10 to 20 bucks, the general ask is more in that 30 to 35 range. So keep that in mind as well. If you find this one out in a box somewhere, you stumble on it at an LCS near you, just know it could be worth a couple of bucks. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm trying to give you market information. So if you see it at your shop, you can make the call of what you want to do, because I don't know how your shop's going to price any of these books. I'm just throwing things out that I can price on eBay to give you a sense of what people are paying, what people are asking, and you make the call on your own. And with that, we're going to move on to our next segment, first appearances. I got a few, and we're going to be focusing our first appearances today on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know, after last week's the Battle Frogs, or Fighter Frogs, I can't remember now. The Indian comics, there was Raj comics, those knockoffs of the Turtles. I started thinking about Turtles, so you know what? Let's look at some of the Turtle villains' first appearances in some of these books, because I know sometimes you can go digging in a box. You can find some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Adventures books. So which ones should you be looking for? Well, here's one. If you go find yourself in some Avengers books, look for issue 23. Why do you want to look for issue 23? Well, it's the first appearance of Slash. I don't know if you remember the toy for this, but this is kind of like that evil-looking turtle. He had like Wolverine claws. Here's his first little silhouette appearance, but that's not it. You get a full in this book. You see it here later. There he is. I remember the toy. My brother had it. It had like that kind of like a darker purple. He was like a darker shade of green, but I really liked the claws. I thought they were kind of cool. Like he had those Wolverine claws, so he looked a little tougher than your normal turtle. But Slash, first appearance here in that Adventures number 23. So keep an eye out for it, because it does okay. You can get a few bucks out of this thing. 20 to 30. That 30 is a lot with a couple other issues, but the other issues don't really have a lot going for them. So it's mostly driving the price, I think, is this issue 23 in that particular lot. Slash does appear on the cover to issue 24, so a lot of people like to package those together when they're out there selling as well. But even the asking prices could be as cheap as $8 and up as high as 50. So prices are all over the place, but if you find it for cheap, just keep that in mind, that it could be a roller coaster ride as to what you might get as a return if you find this in a cheap box. All right, another turtle villain we can look at is Leatherhead. I was going to say Leatherface for a second, but yeah, no. Leatherhead, the alligator dude. First appearance was actually in Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 6, way back in 1988. Pretty cool. This is not the main turtle title, so these could be found their way in these weird little corners of boxes. And just things like this could get ignored. So that's why I like looking for these things, in case you stumble into like a weird little nook and a weird little short box. It's like, what is this box? Oh, it's got some off-title, turtle books. Who knows what you might find. And a book like this first Leatherhead, it can get you like 20 to 50. Again, price is kind of a range. It's depending on timing and condition, obviously. But 20 to 50 recent sales, and asking prices in that $40, $35, or $600 9/8. So if you do find a really nice copy, you might have a nice little gem there as well. But first Leatherhead is a fun one to keep an eye out for. And I got one more. And this is an easy one as far as finding the villains, because it's based off of a movie adaptation. And Turtles 2, when we got Toka and Razar, that like a werewolf and another, it's like an evil snapping turtle, mutated as villains in that second Turtle movie, Secret of the Ooze. Look for the adaptation. So the adaptation for the summer 1991, 64 pages, Turtles movie 2, Secret of the Ooze, is their first appearance. So be mindful of it. Maybe you find it out there, because those movie adaptation type books, they're usually not a lot of people care about them. But this is one you can get you a few bucks, $15 to $20 are recent sales on this first appearances of these two, and asking prices anywhere from like $10 to $30, really. So just something to be mindful of if you like turtles and looking for turtle first appearances. Those are a couple that you can go digging for. Next up, we're going to do our last little segment, and we're going to do oddities. And with oddities, I'm going to kind of focus in on a show I was checking out on Netflix. I've only watched like the first couple of episodes. I still got to continue it, but the anime that I'm talking about here is this Bastard show, which is really cool. I mean, it's not suitable for work. It's not suitable for everyone. There's some crazy stuff in here, but it's kind of cool. If you like that anime kind of vibe, this is definitely interesting. I'm curious to see how the rest of the series goes, but I don't know. Could be worth checking out if you haven't seen it yet. It just premiered like a month or so ago. As you can see, like June 30th. Heavy Metal Dark Fantasy Bastard is the title, and you got this a reluctant hero. I don't even know if we say reluctant hero. I don't know. Watch the trailer and see if it interests you if you want to check it out. But this character over in Japan, those books go for pretty penny. He's a popular character, or popular. This is a popular manga, I guess you would say. So way back in 1988, Weekly Shonen Jump. This issue here is the first appearance and the first installment of Bastard. So that's where you're gonna see like a lot of first appearances for some of these manga anime type characters, like the Chainsaw Man. I think we talked about before. We looked at My Hero Academia, things like that. So if you find any of these out there, there's a bunch that could have something worthwhile in them. But there's plenty that are just standard run fillers because these types of books, they're pretty thick and they have multiple anthologies. Like it's an anthology, so there's multiple stories running throughout them. New ones starting at different times and different years. It's tough to really keep track of these, but do your best. Maybe remember the cover, because if you see this cover, this one could be worth it, because while there are no sold copies within the last 3 months, the asking prices are 120, 140, in that kind of range. So definitely a pricey little book for this one, this Weekly Shonen Jump, March 14th, 1988, first appearance of the character. So that's what you want to be keeping an eye out for. But that's not the only first you can look for, because there's other notable, I should say, versions of this. This is the anthology version that's running through Weekly Shonen Jump. After that, they did produce the trade paperbacks, those just little manga, like digest style books. So you can find that as well over there. Here's Bastard #1 out of Jump Comics. Also in 1988, but a little bit later, this is back in August, where they collect some of these the stories. And here we go. We got this manga little digest style. This thing on its own could also sell cheap. Look, $6. These things, I don't know how they do printings. I don't know how to track printings for these manga type books. So I don't know how collectible they are as far as that goes. Like if it matters, does it matter how you tell the difference? But it's something that's just be worth worth looking into. Look, a whole set, 27 volumes, $90. It's not too bad. So that's why I think these things are still just printed. They're just maybe not constantly printed, but I think there's probably a lot of different versions. But I don't know if a first print's going to make a whole heck of a lot of difference or not, but still just a fun little thing for you to hunt if you were interested. And I figured I'd just throw that in there, as well as the first, the English adaptation version of the story, because again, those were all for Japan. I don't read Japanese, so that wouldn't do me much good to get those books, because I can't really read them if I wanted to read it. But the U.S. reprint, here we go, 2002. Keep an eye out for those as well. Also going to be like digest kind of like style little trades. These could do all right, though. You can see here, $27, $28 for that volume 1 for the start of the series. And I couldn't find any available copies of volume 1, but just to give you a sense, any of these volumes could have a significant interest in them, especially, again, here in the U.S., people are going to want the English language version so they can actually read them. So they could command a little bit of a premium. You can see, look, volume 10 of the series, $37. And then higher issues there's $75, $80. They could be pretty pricey. So if you just stumble into, like I said, a little box and you see these almost look like books, these trades, they could be worth a couple of bucks. It could be worth your time grabbing them for cheap if you find them, because there might be a buyer out there who's also looking for them, wants to check those out. So hopefully you like that weird little trip of, I don't even want to say across the pond, across the Pacific, to check out another manga anime style entry. Just a nice little oddity, something to keep an eye out for, as well as everything else that I covered today. Thanks for stopping by and checking this out. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you find this information valuable and interesting. I'm still enjoying doing all this. I still have a few more weeks planned out ahead of more things I want to cover and share with you guys. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Join memberships if you are so inclined as well, as we got a lot of fun little extras for our members. And I'm working on the final t-shirt design right now, actually. I think I got it nailed down. I just want to get some second opinions from some friends before I finalize it. And yeah, I'm going to get that stuff out to you guys. A lot of fun stuff, a lot of exciting stuff here on the channel. Hopefully you're still having fun. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. We are, like I said, getting close to 1,900, which will be our final push towards 2K. So that 2,000 subscriber mark, we'll do another big giveaway, but I'll have more smaller giveaways running throughout here randomly because, I don't know, it's fun. I don't know. I have fun even running the wheel, finding out and connecting with you guys. So hopefully you're still enjoying it. And with that, I will see you guys soon with some more content, including possibly doing a live Chasing Ghosts tomorrow. Don't know if I have enough time to get everything ready and record and edit and get it out in time, so I might shift gears and do a live Chasing Ghosts tomorrow night. We'll see. We'll see. I'm kicking around that idea. But with that, I will see you guys later.